Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today it's another studio vlog and it acts almost as a second part to the studio vlog that I published earlier this week about my unexpected SCULPEY haul from a very kind lady that I met from my YouTube channel. My experience with SCULPEY is pretty limited. I've tried the Super SCULPEY a few times years ago. I think once I tried Premo, so you know I'm very inexperienced with it, and I've never tried the Soufflé. I've never tried the Accents SCULPEY clays, so I'll be trying them out today, really just to see what they feel like and how they finish actually once they're baked, so that I can get an idea of what I can do with the clay. I've decided to go all retro today and recreate the cartoon characters Roobarb and Custard from the 70s and 80s, I think, because I used to love them, so it'd be really nice to try and recreate those. And it kind of ties in with the SixFanArts trend that's been happening recently. If you've not come across it, it's basically a prompt to create 6 characters in your own style, and I've seen various illustrators and cartoonists give it a good old go over on Twitter, so I think I might try and do maybe 1 or 2 every week or 2 just to try and build up to the 6. So let's go and see how I get on. Right, I'm going to be working with this little lot here, and it's all souffle actually, so I think I'll just stick to SCULPEY Soufflé today just to see what it's like, and it's probably easier actually just to stick to the one kind really, just to get, you know, a good impression of what it's like to work with. So I'll save the Premo and the Premo Accents for another time. So I'm going to be using Igloo, Pistachio, Turnip and Poppy Seed for Roobarb and Custard. So yeah, let's get started. So it feels sort of quite solid, which I'm not sure is due to the clay itself or whether it's a little old, you know, which is fine. My Fimo does that as well when I've not used it for a while. So what I'm going to do is just put it through the pasta roller and yeah, just see really. Well, this is back from the pasta roller now, and my first thoughts are it's such a different clay to Fimo. It feels entirely different, and it feels almost like nubuck or suede. And I think the lady that sent across the haul to me did mention that, I think. But wow, it just feels very different, and I think it's probably supposed to be that hard actually, you know, when I opened up the package, just because it's an entirely different texture really. So yeah, let's try and make rhubarb. So I'm just using the same kind of principles really. I really sort of go heavy on wet wipes just to ensure that my clay is nice and clean. Sorry, there's a tractor that's just gone by. Okay, so I must try and remember to do this in my own style actually, because it's such a unique kind of character design. It's really easy just to try and follow suit really. So Rhubarb has got some quite strangely shaped ears. I'm not expecting this to be my neatest piece of work ever, because it, you know, it is, gosh, it is very different. I'd be interested to know if you guys remember Roobarb and Custard as well. I'm not sure if it was shown outside of the UK. I suspect so, because it was really good, but yeah, it was one of my favourites. And I'd be also keen to hear of any other favourite cartoon characters you like, just so you know I might end up making them really. I've got 6 in total to make, so it's just Roobarb and Custard on the list so far. Right, let's try the other ear now. Yeah, that looks fine. It looks rather like a koala at the moment. Which reminds me, actually, I've put a new class up on Skillshare on how to make a little koala character if you're interested. So I'll leave that linked below for you to go and check it out if you haven't already. The link will also allow you to have a free trial of Skillshare for I think 2 months if you've not used the platform already. I love it actually, there's all sorts of good stuff on there, and it's particularly great for creatives and those with an interest in the arts, so by all means go and take a look. Okay, so that's resembling Rhubarb's kind of face shape now. I don't want to make it identical obviously because I want to make it more in my style really. I'm not sure if you're supposed to do this kind of stuff with the souffle clay, but yeah, I never really look up things, you know, what you're supposed to do with stuff, instructions, etc. I just try and have a go myself, and if it doesn't work then, you know, I'll try something else. There we go. I'm not going to press down too firmly because I want the ability to move it. Okay, so to keep it more in line with my own style, I'm just going to go a bit sort of renegade here. As I say, it's just really hard to remember to do something like this in your own style when the design is so iconic. There we go, I'll just remove the nose for now. So I'll just pop in some black clay first. I can see that the white clay is very, very similar to Fimo in that, you know, it picks up everything actually, which is no great surprise. I think white clay is always going to be pretty challenging, just because you're quite likely to be able to see what's on there. So there we go, that's more in my style. So his nose will go there shortly. So the mouth is going to be completely different because, well, I do mouths completely differently, so. So now the mouth's done, I can just add the nose. It's really not the neatest model in the world, but as I say, it's just an experiment today. And he really does look like a koala. So I'm going to add some tiny pieces of wire. Because he had some random hair popping out of his ears at the top. And yeah, I kind of like it. It doesn't really look like rhubarb, but as I say, it's all about your own style really. I think I'll give him a couple of eyebrows just to make it, you know, look more like my own work really. So there we go, that's rhubarb clay disarray style done. And so this video doesn't go on forever. I'm just going to fast forward my making of custard. And now that they're done, I'm going to bake them both at 130 degrees for half an hour. Okay, so now these guys are out of the oven and they're all cool. So I'll just have a closer look. It's quite interesting that I can see a lot of imperfections, which is fine. It's only a little test piece, but one thing that I have noticed, and I don't know whether you'll see it on the camera, that there's a definite crack that's appeared by Rhubarb's eye, which could be for a number of reasons. Perhaps the clay, I didn't condition it very well, or perhaps it needs some foil in the centre instead of being sort of quite a thick bake. It's just what I usually do with Fimo actually, so I thought it was best to compare them both under the same kind of circumstances really. I like the colour though, I think the pigments are great, and yeah, it's just a kind of interesting experiment. What I would say actually, that if you find Fimo clay a little too tough on your hands, this is definitely a lot softer to work with once it's been conditioned, so it might be something that you'd prefer to use really, particularly if you're new to polymer clay. It's really kind of tricky at times to get used to clay that's really quite sort of hard. So yeah, I'd recommend you give this a go. And now for custard. And the same, there's a crack there, but you know, that's probably due to me not conditioning it very well. But I also wanted the flexibility of not using foil in the centre, because I dig quite deep sometimes when I make mouths, so that would need to be a consideration if I were to do it again. But all in all, I think it's a great clay actually. As I say, it's very different to Fimo, and you just probably need to use it for different projects, perhaps smaller projects. But yeah, I've enjoyed the experience. It's been nice to make a couple of fan art pieces, and I've really enjoyed seeing what my interpretation of Roobarb and Custard would look like. So yeah, I've really enjoyed the process. So as I say, if you've any suggestions for any other characters you'd like to see clay disarrayed for SixFanArts, by all means let me know down below. Hope you enjoyed that. I think there's loads of stuff that I'll be able to do with the SCULPEY clay, so I'm really excited to really think about how I can kind of move forwards with this yeah, little collection that I've acquired, my lockdown larder I like to call it. So yeah, that's been brilliant news for me, and it's you know, been a real lift with everything else that's been going on. I'll be back next week with certainly a process video, probably one the week after as well, because there's yeah, a couple of people that I want to make, and yeah, probably some SCULPEY stuff around that too. So yeah, I'll be back soon. Take care, and yeah, see you soon. Bye bye.